what was your mindset? Were you preparing to get drafted?
Sure.
Like, did you have teams telling you like, hey, if you're around, we're gonna take you?
Yeah. So like projected, coming out fourth round, late third, fourth round projection. And yeah, a lot of teams spoke with a lot of teams. Pittsburgh brought me in for a visit, so like things was trending. I'm like, hey, maybe they know, I'm back healthy. I've shown them, hey, I'm back. I'm back to that player you saw my junior year. You saw me at Senior Bowl. You saw me at the Combine. You saw that I'm healthy. So hopefully, all those red flags go away. But I think at the end of the day, they're still saying, he's a small guy and he got hurt. I think a lot of those, compounded. But like even in the draft, you got teams calling you in the draft like, hey, we got a pick here in the fourth round. We're gonna pick you. And I look at the TV, and it's somebody else. And I'm like, what? Like I ain't know those things went on. It's it's your first time going through the draft. You don't know those things go on. Like you have a guy call you, say, hey, we got a pick here in the fifth round. Be on the lookout. We might gonna select you here. Somebody else's name. So it's just like you sitting there.
I mean, that process had to be super frustrating, though. I'm assuming you having draft parties, you're having people over. And it's just like it probably was a little bit embarrassing, frustrating. Whoa,
worst day of my life. One of the worst days of my life.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not the type of guy to set expectations. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, I'm not gonna tell you what I want to do. I'm gonna just do it and you see it. But this one for me, it was like, oh man, I got my family, my friends. We having a cookout. They're telling me I'm getting drafted. Like this is what the 4-year-old kid envisioned happening. Like this is everything we've done. My parents, like. All the sacrifices y'all made, everything, everybody, this is what this day is for. Like, this is our moment. And you get to the end of the draft and it don't happen. Like, it's...
So the crazy thing is that this is what this podcast is all about, is that you're at this moment. This is like the worst day of your life. You're in this situation where your whole family's there, and what you've been working so hard for, there's a glimpse that it's not happening right now. How do you respond?
You got 24 hours to feel bad for yourself.
There you go.
And then you got to figure it out. Like, you got to go from there.
So did you have options? I'm assuming you could have probably went a couple different places.
Couple places. A lot of people was calling, hey, we want to come in, But Coach Belichick called me personally. So I talked to Coach Belichick after the draft. And then Arizona, that's when, what's the coach that was at Arizona? Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians was still at Arizona. So I was back and forth between New England and Arizona, like, hey, what should I do? I'm asking my mom, like, hey, where should I go? What should I do? And I had another teammate, Brandon King, who had been at New England. He was a special teams player. I called him. He was like, hey, man, they really give guys opportunities here. And I talked to Coach Belichick, and he said the same thing. He's like, man, you come here,
we're going to give you
an opportunity.
Right.
And I'm like, all right.
That's all you wanted.
That's all I wanted. Like, give me an opportunity. Like, treat me fairly. Don't, and they had drafted another guy, one of my good friends, in the second round. And I'm like, hey, man, we can compete. And like, I feel like I can go toe for toe with you. Like, we can compete for a spot. And so I ended up going to New England, and man, here we are 8 years later.
Wow. So walk us through that. Like, you go to New England, and
I just don't think people understand what an undrafted free agent means. It means like you're doomed to not make it. You are there for camp, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you get there. I got there. It's your OTAs, rookie mini camp, and rookie mini camp. Like they trying to kill you. It's not fit. Like people, has nothing to do with football.
Right.
It has nothing to do with football. A lot of the young guys don't realize that. They're like, I've been backpedaling. They don't care.
Yeah.
Like they got enough film on you. That's not what you're in rookie minicamp for. They in there to test your mentality. Yeah. Like, can they kill you and you come back? Like, how do you respond to that adversity? Because they got to decide in the spring and in training camp, like what type of player you gonna be in January in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, do I bring you along for this journey? Like, what type of player are you when there's some adversity come? Like, how you gonna respond?
Right.
So rookie minicamp, they trying to kill you. And I was prepared for that.
Especially at the Patriots, dude. I mean, that team is just something else. I mean, you're talking about coming into a program where you've got arguably the best quarterback who ever played the game. And be a part of that team, you got to be special. You got to be cream of the crop, and you got to have a mentality like no other.
The mission was set. I mean, the year before I got there, they just lost in the AFC Championship. So they just lost.
At this point, they'd already won.
They won.
They'd won what, one or two?
They won 14. That was one of the Seahawks, and then they lost in the AFC Championship the year before I got there. And then so this is my rookie year coming in, and like I said, the pieces are in place. Like, you know what I mean?
What was that culture like there? Like, was it immediately when you got there? It was just a different culture.
Yeah, it was for me. It was home. Like, it was my dad. Like, that's why I lasted there for so long, because it was just show them, do what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Don't complain about it, and just it is what it is. And so, like, for me, it was easy. Like, looking like that part of it was easy. Like, the football part of like my career was easy. Just because it was just show up, I can do what you asked me to do, and I can excel at that. You know, that part was easy. I think for me, my personal battle, like going into football, like was my off the field, was like life. You know what I mean? You're dealing with a lot going into life, but you're a young kid, and now football is not just a game anymore, it's your job. Yeah. It goes from being your job, and so no one really cares what's going on at home. Right. They're not supposed to. You're not asking you to. Why? Because it's your job. Like, you know what I mean? So that was the biggest struggle for me, was just off the field more so than on the field. But like the culture there was just show up, you know, work, do the quote unquote do your job, and that was easy for me.
I don't think a lot of people understand that, especially a lot of people that watch football on TV. Like, this is a job. Like, this is a job. This is a business, and this is what you do for your work. You know, and you have to handle that in a way that's far more than just playing on Sundays.
For sure.
A lot of people don't see that.
Now, I can paint the picture for you. So this is August training camp. I'm like, all right, I'm about to make this team. I'm like, all right, they like me. I'm here. Like, it's cut day, final cut day. Man, listen, it's final cut day, and it's like if they call you, you cut. If they don't call you, you say. And so I go out. They got it's a little river in Boston called like the Charles River. I get a little kayak. I'm like, they cut me. I'm gonna take my time getting back into that. And I'm gonna take my time getting back in that facility. So like I'm out there, I'm a kayak. I'm just hanging out, like checking my phone every now and then.
On the river?
Yeah, I'm out on the river. Like,
That's
it's
awesome.
cut day. I'm out. I'm like, yo, if they cut me, I'm taking my time getting back to Foxborough just because I want to soak this in.
Yeah.
And so I go. I think it's the cut time is like 4 o'clock, and I look, it's 4:01, 4:02. I was like, I don't know how official this is, and hey, they don't call me. So then you get a message later, hey, come back into the facility, and you know it kind of started from there. So like just to be in that mindset of like you talk about the undrafted, like being an undrafted guy. Like so I signed a lease, you know, it's Boston, nothing's cheap out of Foxborough. I think my lease was $2,000 a month. My signing bonus was like $10,000. You know, I bought my parents a washer and dryer, so I had about like $6,000 in my account with a $2,000 lease per month, and they can cut me like tomorrow. Yeah. Right, and so like that was the risk. Like I stepped out on was like, no, I'm gonna be here, and so like that was the space I was in. Like my back's against the wall. You know, I got a daughter. I got like life. I'm lifing at this point. I'm straight out of college to where you're on scholarship. You getting free meals in the caf. Like So hey, I got a $2,000 lease with $6,000 in my account. And they could
lots another thing a lot of people don't understand. Like when you first get to the league, an undrafted free agent, like you better be very wise with your money, or it's gonna be going really quick.